Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this week's CWC review. I enjoyed this week's show. I mean, it wasn't at the standard of what we've seen in previous weeks, but it couldn't be, could it? You know, I mean, I still stand by my match of the year so far was what we saw last week with Ibushi and Cedric Alexander. That's another week further down the road, and I'm still saying it was my match of the year. So I loved it, absolutely loved it, and I enjoyed this week as well. There was a few slower moments, but there was still a lot of very interesting, very intriguing. I mean, I get lost in it. I find myself getting lost in it. It's a lot of spots. It's a lot of interesting reversal, very intricate. You have to watch the screen. It's not like Raw. You know, with Raw, you can go off and have make a cup of coffee, come back 5 minutes later, but chances are the match is over. In fact, several matches will probably be over by that point, and you'll probably walk into Miz TV. But actually, you wouldn't on Raw because he's on SmackDown. But forgetting all of that, you just can't do that with the CWC. My problem with the first match, Jack Gallagher against Tozawa, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was back and forth. You know, kind of knew Tozawa was going to win because Gallagher was just getting all the offense. You know, there was a few moments from Tozawa, but this was Jack's chance to shine, his final chance to shine. And fair play to Tozawa. He really sold, and really made Jack Gallagher look like $1 million. And Jack Gallagher made Jack Gallagher look like $1 million. My problem with it, anyway, is some of the spots we saw, I just don't know if they're realistic. The one where he ties Tozawa up and then leaves him and then ends up kicking him in the ass. I just looked at that and thought, that is a trained wrestler. That is someone that eats, sleeps, breathes, does everything to do with wrestling, and he can't get out of that. Maybe he can't get out of that. Maybe it is just one of the greatest wrestling holds I've never seen. But I'm not sure I was buying it, to tell the truth. I couldn't decide if Jack Gallagher's offense was one of the stupidest things I'd ever seen at times, or one of the greatest. Another example, that leg hold that he puts Tozawa in, and Tozawa's trying to escape, and Gallagher's there just waving at him as they're kind of, going around the ring. All of Tozawa's lower body strength should have been able to have kicked out of that for me. Gallagher was holding that in place with just one leg, yet Tozawa, you're telling me Tozawa couldn't kick out of that? Again, maybe not. I don't know enough. I've not studied enough actual wrestling holds and the psychology, like the science behind it, if you will, to know if that's true or not. But for me, it kept taking me out of the match. I kept watching the match thinking, what a reversal, or that is an amazing hold. But then something silly would happen and I would just think, that feels like it's gone too far. Like the time hitting him up in a ball, or him not being able to escape from that hold on the floor whilst Gallagher's waving at him. And again, wrestling's meant to be fun. I understand you maybe have to take it with a pinch of salt, but Tozawa is legit. He is hard hitting, and so is Jack Gallagher. This wasn't a comedy match, and so I don't know. It was just, that's my only criticism. It's my only criticism, because the rest of this match I really enjoyed. There was a nice leg lariat and a senton from Tozawa. Tozawa also went to slap Jack Gallagher, didn't, and ended up jabbing him real quick. Just sent Gallagher down. It was a beautiful spot. Really quick reversals, focused leg attacks from Jack Gallagher, which I really liked. The end of the match comes snap German and then deadlift into another German. It was a bit of a flat finish. All of the kind of submission work and all of the kind of focused attacks on the legs, for it to just end that way relatively quickly, German, and then another German, 1, 2, 3, done. Felt a bit cheated. I really enjoyed this match, but it left me a bit frustrated as well, because it's one of those where it's just like, this match could be up there with what we've seen before. Just, you need to cut out the stupid stuff, and we just need to make it make a bit more sense. Maybe that's me. Maybe I'm just being overcritical because I've been spoilt by what we've seen in previous weeks. So Tozawa moves forward anyway, goes up against Gran Metalik, and I do think Jack Gallagher should be signed, because I do think he brings something very different yet very entertaining, and yeah, it was a great showcase for him, if nothing else. Next up, Noam Dar against Hoho Loon. Hoho Loon just doesn't do it. It just he looks out of his depth to me. Some nice spots in here from Hoho Loon. I will give him credit. Noam Dar it looks like this week he went from first gear into second gear. He needs to start getting into fourth and fifth gear and really showing what he can do. I don't know if it's a case that he knew he was getting through the first round, he knew he was getting through the second round, and so he's letting other people shine. No problem with that. But he hasn't done much to really impress. But this was a better week for Noam Dar. Back of the head drop kick from Hoho Loon was really, really smart. I liked the da 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 chant from the crowd. I thought that was really, really smart. Huge drop kick again, a really nice pace to the match. As I said, it was a better showing from Dar. Hoho Loon, missile drop kick into the Michinoku driver. There was a knee bar and clubbing shots from Dar. That's what ended up winning it for him. And to tell the truth, there was a few other bits, but it was another kind of so-so forgettable match. I would say one of the worst matches in the first round was Noam Dar's, and I would say so far the worst match of the second round was Noam Dar's. He's got to up his game. He's got to up his game, but without sounding mean, I don't think the competition is going to be any worse for saying goodbye to Hoho Loon. So, you know, we just move forward. Dar faces Gulak or Zack Sabre Jr. It's going to be Zack Sabre Jr. in it. So, well, I'd hope so anyway. So Noam Dar against Zack Sabre Jr. potentially in the next round could be very interesting. They've got history, and hopefully that will bring the best out of the youngest competitor, Noam Dar. Right, then we go into the final match, and this was the Brian Kendrick against Tony Nese. Tony Nese looked like $1 million, looked like he should be headlining WrestleMania. Really strong showing from Tony Nese. A lot of the big spots in this came from Tony Nese. The Brian Kendrick story at the moment is one of survival. He is literally just doing what he can to get through, and he is taking some big bumps. You've got to think though, because he won and got through, he's got to be out in the next round. He's up against Kota Ibushi in the next round. That has to be a done deal. That has to be the end of the Brian Kendrick. I like how Daniel Bryan's on his side, you know, trying to push him forward, cheer him on. It adds something different. But yeah, you know, this match was good. This was a really good match. So big boot from Tony Nese to start, big elbow, big knee. I mean, literally 3 attacks and the Brian Kendrick's on the outside. Springboard moonsault from Nese misses. Cartwheel escape into a super kick. Nese's hand at one point caught in the turnbuckle, which I thought was a nice spot. Kendrick taking advantage. Great sequence as well as strikes from Tony Nese, which ends with a leg sweep. Come on, Brian, from Brian on the commentary. Again, as we said, you know, really trying to cheer on Brian Kendrick. A second missed moonsault from Tony Nese. A cross arm breaker, high jump flip thing onto the outside from Tony Nese. He was absolutely everywhere. Falcon Arrow by Tony Nese. Really good match. Pace by this point was picking up. 2 count, another Falcon's Arrow. 2 count. Missed 450 splash. You know, within this as well, we had some bully chokes applied. Victory comes with another bully choke that's applied when Nese misses that 450 splash. And he taps very quick, actually. You know, when the end happens. And as we said, you know, Kendrick goes forward to face Kota Ibushi. They've announced the matches for next week as well. It's the final matches of the second round. Just to finish on this final match, I would say it was an 8 out of 10. Really strong 7 at the very least. But next week we get Lindsay Dorado against Rich Swann, get Zack Sabre Jr. against Drew Gulak, and we get Johnny Gargano against TJ Perkins. Some mouth-watering matches there. Really think that next week could be quite tasty. Certainly that Lindsay Dorado against Rich Swann. I think that could be a classic. That really could be a classic. Johnny Gargano against TJ Perkins as well. It's just Perkins showcases a lot and showboats, and maybe won't work the match. Will just try and showcase himself, and that might take away from it. Zack Sabre Jr. against Drew Gulak. I'm not sure Drew Gulak's the best opponent for Zack Sabre Jr., but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But Dorado Swan, I think, will be the one to watch. But yeah, it was good. It was a good week. Not nowhere near the heights of what we've seen before, but certainly enough there for me to do a decent sized review video. So hope you enjoyed it anyway. We move forward. Cool. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give the video a like if you liked it. I'm sure there's other things I'm meant to say, like follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Wrestling Days UK. And just be kind to animals. So thanks a lot for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.